that doesn't make sense. I am willing to accept that if somebody demands that that book is banned, that book is outrageous for certain people, and the government has confirmed, and the court of this country has confirmed that yes, it is outrageous, and that is why the government and the court, in their best sense, have said that the book should not be released or read out publicly or so on. Okay. But have they said that the man should also not come? This is going out of the realm of the law. And any civilized society has to adhere to the law of the country, the law of the nation. Because if you ask for justice, you ask in the light of the same very law, same constitution. If you ask for equality, you ask according to this constitution. You ask for your share in the social, political, economic space that in the light of this constitution. Then you owe something to the constitution. If the constitution provides certain liberties to others, you have to respect that. But as a matter of fact, I don't think this is a setback what is happening. As a matter of fact, this is a wake-up call. Why should you feel it's a setback? And you should have woken up much earlier. You are sitting in a state where a censored film, Jodha Akbar, was not released. And shame that there was no protest against it. You are sitting in a country where the finest and the most popular painter of the country was thrown out of India. His paintings were burned, his museum was destroyed, but you did not vote. It happens every day. A picture gets censored. I am from film industry, I faced this. Just around the corner you will find Prakash Jha and ask him what has happened to him. You know, people are very sentimental. Their sentiments, their emotions get hurt very easily. Except for reasonable, educated people. Everybody gets hurt. I suppose this has to be told that the Muslims of the country should not develop any kind of persecution complex that it is happening only to us. No. This will happen to everybody. There is a law of the country, and whether Jamaat-e-Islami or RSS or Jamiatul Ulama or Bajrang Dal, all of them will have to respect it. We have to realize, believe me, we talk of the minorities of this country. The smallest minority of this country is Indians.
Javed Sahab, we just heard Sanjoy say that the organizers, the participants of this, sir, please sit down. Sir, the audience, the organizers, everybody felt disgraced, but I'd like to remind ourselves that one, there's a mirror image between the Hindu right wing and the Muslim right wing. Javed Sahab just reminded us of M.F. Hussain dying in exile, where both in person and his work was banned and censored by the threat of violence. And I also feel that this has been a moment of, I imagine, great humiliation and sense of disgrace for the vast Muslim community that does not share the opinions of their mullahs. Rahul, you have been working hugely with the community. Would we take this opportunity to remind ourselves whether this feeling of persecution and thin-skinnedness runs deep in the fabric of the society, or are we always caving in to the vilest and the most thinnest slice of our communities?
I think what I'd like to do is read out from the Constitution what has been defined, what freedom of expression has been defined as. And I think it's going to be very instructive to set off some thought here. It says, freedom of expression, and I'm extrapolating, but I'm just taking out a particular phrase. Reasonable restrictions can be imposed in the interest of public order, security of state, decency, or morality. Reasonable restrictions on your freedom of expression can be imposed in the interest of public order, security of state, decency, or morality. Now, if there is any fight that has to be undertaken after this, as Javed Sahib and Tarun said, it is this. Because this is a grey area bigger than all of us put together right now. The Jaipur Literature Festival is part of this. You are part of the Constitution of India. So if you have to change a law and challenge it, it has to be done outside JLF. You cannot hold this festival to ransom, and therefore I think Sanjoy and Namita and Winnie were absolutely right. This is not the forum to start the debate and the fight for this. That will happen outside. As Javed Sahib said, let us see how many of us can actually start that fight. And say, look, what is decency? Is it decent to ban a writer? Is it publicly moral to prevent me from reading a book of art or see a piece of a work of art that has enlightened millions across the world? Is that decent? Where is morality? Is it just sexual morality? Or are we looking at the morality of who we are? The moral fiber of who we are? Do we even exceed that we have a moral compass that believes in truth, justice, compassion, non-cruelty? Do we accept that? Do we teach our children that? So, my only point is this. I come from an industry and a city, Shoma, where time and time again, even the rule of law within this vast grey area hasn't been upheld. So just because your film passes a censor, or just because your play has been passed off by the censors, it doesn't mean that it will run indefinitely. Anything can happen anytime, and for a long time we've just pleaded, dear Lord, just let the rule of law be implemented. But if the rule of law is this vast, if the grey area is this big, then you're really in a problem. And you're going to have problems like this all the while through. And all we're going to be able to say is, lives will be lost, people will be hurt, we're going to have to step back.
Ashokji, I wanted to ask you something which I've heard a lot of discussion